Now here we go, because it's your boy DJ Akademiks, and if I was forced to tell the story of Future Vandross, his rise to stardom, in only about 3 minutes, it would be pretty hard. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I'll still try. But in 2011, he debuted on the musical scene, being a feature on a popular hit song, you know it, Racks on Racks on Racks. Now, controversy broke out shortly after because the rapper whose song it was, his name is QC. You probably never heard of him. He's a one-hit wonder. Now, listen, QC didn't like what Future came out and said. Future came out and said, he said, listen, man, y'all wrote the hook to that shit. I gave the second verse. YC just really filled in the verse. You know what I mean? That's basically a reference track, right? Now, YC didn't like that. He wanted Future to say, no, we both came up with this together. So they fell out. Now imagine this, the biggest song of your non-existent career, you wrote a hit, but some one-hit wonder is trying to take credit for it and trying to deny your talent, and basically then you guys fall out. He wants nothing to do with you, okay? Now, here's the difference between Future Vandross and every other rapper. Rather than turn his career into a campaign over trying to fight for credit for one fucking song, Future was determined to show us that not only could he make hits, but he could make hits on hits on hits. Now, a few months later, Future and Whiskey hit another three-pointer from the baseline, and we realize he strikes gold with Tony Montana. The song dominated the fucking clubs, okay? It got the attention of the light-skinned Keith Sweat, Champagne Poppy Drake, okay? The stimulus package then propels Future into the starlight, into mainstream hip-hop, who was then waiting to see, could he be more than a one-hit wonder? Because now this is his official first hit. But after delivering Tony Montana, he came back with Same Damn Time, Turn on the Lights, Never End, Magic Remix. Okay, we realized the Future package is actually here. Okay, the stimulus package of Future, that's how it got born. Now, here's the thing, because Pluto, the album, that happened where we saw more hits. But we also saw him get into what ended up being a detrimental move for his career. He got in a relationship with Ciara. Now, listen, this is the same time he had hits on the charts still. Love Song, right? Remember Bitches and Alcohol? Remember UOENO, Bugatti, We and This Bitch, Tap Out, Even Honest? It's crazy because we realized shortly after that relationship with Ciara, that crashed and burned. It led to Future trying to recapture his core fan base that might have felt alienated while he went quote-unquote Hollywood for a second. So we got a three-peat, right? We got a back-to-back-to-back mixtapes where he showed, once again, his versatility of being able to unlock more goddamn flows, and I could unlock goddamn characters in Mortal Kombat. I mean, he's unlocking all type of fucking harmonies and shit like that. Now, we get to his third studio album, which is Dirty Sprite 2. Now, Dirty Sprite 2 is the definition of a coming-of-age album, one where an artist truly finds his lane. He's done looking for influences, done experimenting. He's found what his core fan base connects with, and he serves it like a fucking drug dealer, okay? Giving it raw, uncut. He's building that fan loyalty back up. He's not compromising. He don't care about the suburban kid that's across town that comes over to cop from him like every once a month. He don't give a fuck about him. He cares about the fiends that are on the block every single fucking day copping from him, which, to be honest, you have to admire. Now, as I said, this is Future's third album, okay? But the story for this album isn't completely told unless you consider the three mixtapes that preceded it: Monster, Beast Mode, and 56 Nights, okay? All those help to establish the narrative, the lane, the loyalty of a fan base that now touts himself to be the Future Hive. You see how I did that? Exactly. Now, as far as sales, man, he did about 151,000 records first week in sales and streaming, which, to be honest, that's a very dope number. I mean, he's kind of propelled him into that upper echelon of where you got to take him serious. It's a great number because not only did he slightly exceed what I expected, but it's the best he's ever done in comparison. His last album, Honest, did 53,000 records, so almost 100,000 records difference. Okay, so we got to credit his loyal fan base and also credit him for building up that fan base with free music. Okay, a lot of people aren't doing that shit with free music no more. But let's go through the album. We're going to run through it real quick, and we're going to go through it track by track. Now, rock with me, because track one is I Thought It Was a Drought. This is actually, So, I mean, it has kind of like a psychedelic instrumental that kicks it off. I mean, Future Vandross comes in, delivers the fuckery. I just fucked your bitch with some Gucci flip flops, okay? Listen, that's what I'm talking about. It's not particularly a strong intro, but it's a dope song, okay? I would listen. Usually, when you hear intro, you're ready for that epic shit. Not really epic, but it comes on with a dope song. Now, second is I Serve the Bass. I Serve the Bass, and for some reason, man, I love this instrumental. Also, I saw like some, it was a fake video, I believe, but Russell Wilson was kind of dancing to it. It's dope. Okay, now I love how this particular song is a play off him serving his core fan base, or really straight up drug talk. Okay, one thing you'll get about Future is how unapologetic, straightforward he is. Okay, he said like, listen, they should have told you I was a trap nigga. I'm in the White House shooting crack niggas. I gave up on my conscience, gotta live with. Listen, he is straight to the point. Now track 3, because that's Where You At featuring Drake. That's where the stimulus package, actually 2 stimulus packages, because they're both their own stimulus package at this point. But this is the direction and the definition of the direction that Future took with this album, okay? Simplicity, straight to the point, okay? He's asking just simple a bunch of questions, right? Where you at, nigga, where you was at? Okay, now Drake delivers a dope verse, which at this point is kind of like a moot point, even discussing like, is Drake going to deliver a dope verse? He just comes in and does Drake, okay? Now, interestingly enough, Drake apparently asked to be on this album rather than somebody asking Drake, okay? Usually it's the other way around. So it's one of my favorite tracks, and to be honest, it's a crowd favorite. A lot of people love this song. Now, track 4, Groupies. This track epitomizes the album because this time around, Future opted for simple hooks. He kept it simple, but with that simplicity, while it might serve the bass, it could be seen as replication. It's still a dope track, but it epitomizes the album. Okay, now number 5 is a track called Little One. Now, the chorus bangs on this one. I'm not going to lie, man. We hear more harmonic cadence from Future along with some signature ad-libs, but this song kind of bumps. I mean, this is what I suggest you kick off in the whip. Listen, your $15 earbuds ain't gonna do this justice, man. You gotta bring this to the whip. Now, track 6 is a track called Stick Talk. And listen, I mean, he says it here. And this is what I'm saying. He's talking to his main fan base, the people that get him. He said, you can't understand this if you're too fucking soft, okay? Now, there's a track for every artist that's about that life, that even if you ain't personally about that life, when you hear it, you feel it, and you feel like you're in that life. And I feel like he draws in everybody who really loves his music into that life, and you actually feel like you're probably a trap nigga for at least a moment or two. I mean, you feel like, listen, it feel like you got niggas in the pen, niggas on trial, feel like the ops trying to rob you, feel like you cashing out, and you're drinking just to get over your anxieties. You're living life in the fast lane, and to be honest, you're still trying to fuck up some commas on a new toy. The instrumental also seems a little bit familiar. I can't pinpoint why I think it's familiar, though. Okay, now number 7. That's a song called Freako. He's spitting, man. Listen, the flow is hypnotizing. He's professing his love for a Freako. This track is moving. I give it a passable grade. And we're going to go on to track 8 because Rotation is a decent track. I mean, it's a slower pace coming off Freako, but then again, Future does have the style of rap where it's, as I said, on this album, it's simple, but to the core of what he's doing, he's just asking questions. He's asking questions or just making statements. I just put a famous bitch on rotation. Okay? Now, number 9. And this is a track called Slave Master. I was a little bit apprehensive, man. Listen to a fucking song that says jump out of a new whip like I'm a slave master. But you kind of get that there's no deep sentimental or historical meaning or context to really put this whole song in. Listen, it's just a play on words. It's Future Vandross, not Future X or Future Farrakhan. He's not trying to make a political statement. He's just trying to play on words and really let you know what his life is like, okay? Now, he does have a couple clever lines like, yo, don't let your culture be a vulture. And, of course, some lines you got to wonder what drugs he's on, man, because he's talking about he got a 2-door coupe with four choppers in it, and I'm like, nigga. Now, we're going to go on to track 10, because that's a track called Blow a Bag. Listen, straight up motherfucking hit. No more, no less. To me, this is Fuck Up the Commas, part 2, and we'll go on to track 11, because we don't need to talk about Blow a Bag. It's just a dope song. Okay, come on, you should know this. Now, Colossal, right? One thing you'll notice about this particular album is that the cohesion and similarity between the tracks is a similarity in production, okay? Most of the album, if you don't know, is produced by Southside or Metro Boomin, okay? Surprisingly, Mike Will Made It did not make the album. But you hear a lot of like part twos or like beats that you'll hear similarities, or you hear the same hi-hats, or you hear the same drum patterns. You're like, wait, you hear the same kind of like drops, and because it's done by two producers, okay? Once again, it's more simplicity. I'm about to do this, I'm about to do that. It's a decent track to me, okay? Number 12 is Rich Sex. Now, if we could pinpoint the theme of this album, it's about blowing a bag. It's about fucking up them commas. It's about sipping on lean. It's about donkey fucking them bitches. And listen, while we're doing that, you gotta make no apology for living the lifestyle that you do. And that's what you get right here. It's a combination of all those themes that culminates into something called Rich Sex. Pretty decent track. Okay, now track 13 is Blood on the Money. This track is about how Future's getting money dirty, obviously. Probably a lot of shit happened along the way in the pursuit of getting money. Now, blood is on the money, not literally, but I mean in the methods in which he gets it. Now, the lives that are affected, he still makes no apologies for like what he's doing. He gives no fucks, okay? I mean, instead he drinks it away and he says fuck his problems. It's a slow down type of song. Probably goes best if you're under the influence, but it's definitely one of the dopest songs on the album. Now, track 14 is a Trap Nigga song, which ironically is called Trap Nigga. Now, it's one of the songs that got pushed out in front, chosen by the public to be a single, and God bless and all the trap niggas. I mean, listen, in Future definition of what a trap nigga is, it's basically the trap is not only the fucking band or where you're selling drugs at, but it's basically where your hustle is at. If you're in an office, if you're at the strip club, you're at a basement in some factory working for honest living, or you're a construction worker, the trap is where you make your money. And that's it, okay? By the way, this track was on 56 Nights, so we all know about it from there. 15, and this is track 15. This is the Percocet and stripper joint. This is a little bit weird joint to me because Future is having a moment you'd think he'd have with a therapist or a doctor. This is really the only moment that Future's kind of really... He's not questioning his decisions. He's just kind of admitting to shit he's done. He's fessing up to all type of drug use, right? Percocet, lean, a bunch of other drugs, acid. I mean, it's a short track, though. It could have went a little bit longer, but still, it was good. I mean, it felt like an interlude, though. I mean, if Future was a skit person, if I was like a producer on the album, I'd probably say, listen, man, let's throw a skit in it. Let's have some type of like, I don't know, like make it seem like you're on the couch and just kind of admitting to what your last, like, I don't know, 56 nights been, okay? Who knows? But yeah, it was a pretty dope track to me. Anyway, we're going to go on to track 16, Real Sister. This is Trap Nigga Part 2. At least to me, okay? Just like Blow a Bag is like Fuck Up Them Commas Part 2. This is as well pretty dope. And this is as well a single type record. It's a top 10 record on this particular album, if not top 5. And I will say this, it was on beast mode, so people are familiar with it. That's why we won't linger and really, we don't have to spend too much time on it. Now, here's the thing, because we're going to go on to track 17. It's a track called Know the Meaning. Now, he said this, the best thing I ever did was fall out of love. Esco came to me and said, they think you washed up. You need to go back in and show these niggas you the one. All right. Now, this is Future and no pun intended being honest. I mean, it's very telling about the people he has around him. I mean, it's very telling that Esco, who he's mentioned a lot, is a DJ that him and Future have a good rapport, will tell him the truth. Like, yo, they think you're falling off, man. You got to really, come on, bruh. What's up? Now, he's obviously touching on the Ciara situation, which is a storytelling record to some extent, and I definitely enjoyed this record a lot, okay? It's a change of pace from the raps where he's just talking about, I'm about to do this, I'm about to do this, I blow a bag today, I'm about to do this, I'm about to put a fucking bitch in a Gucci flip. Okay, it's a change of pace, all right? And I appreciate it. Now, the last track is self-explanatory again, because this one is Fuck Up Them Commas, all right? Now, it's a dope song. To me, it's like the best club song on the entire album. It's perfection. I mean, Fuck Up Them Commas, it just goes. It just goes. From the first time, you know, sometimes you hear a track and you might need a little while to get used to it. This is one of those tracks, as soon as you hear the hook and it comes on, you could turn up even if it's the first time you're hearing the song, okay? It appeared on Monster as well, so we are somewhat familiar with this track, okay? Now that's the album, man. That's the album. Overall, the album was good. His core fans will love it. Casual fans might not love it as much because it might be a hit or miss for them unless they're into drugs heavy, okay? Now, it's not an excellent body of work. If you're wondering what's my complete thought on the project, it's not an excellent body of work, but it's definitely not whack. To me, it's a B album. I mean, if we added this to the trilogy of tapes he dropped before, this might rank third. For that reason, this project to me is a 4.15, 4.15, or whatever you want to call it, out of 5, okay? I mean, it would have been a 4.2 or even possibly like a B plus 4.25, something like that. But still, man, there's a little bit, there's some repetition in the tracks. I felt that we had 18 tracks, but we could have cut like 5 or 6 of them out because it was like part 2s to part 2s, okay? And we do get it. It was a lot of cohesion. He had a very focused way of making this album. But still, he did not venture too much creatively to try to make sure he could test himself, okay? So I'm going to penalize him a little bit for that, even though it's a good thing in another sense that he's pleasing his core fan base who looks like they're comfortable with where he was at on this project, okay? Because they've enjoyed the last 3. They didn't want him to go too crazy, do a Kanye West Yeezus and nothing, but I felt he could have did more. He's a very creative soul, but still, a 4.15 is a pretty decent album to be. It's a good rating, B. Okay, so get in the comments, what do you guys think? Give your review, okay? I want to hear your review. What's your favorite tracks? What's your top 5 tracks? I'm not going to put out top 5 tracks for this one. I want you guys to name your top 5 tracks. I got some personal favorite tracks, but most of them are older, okay? You know what I mean? Most of them, they've appeared on other tapes before. You guys could probably guess what I'm talking about. I want you guys to select what your favorite tracks are. So get in the comments. Make sure you guys like, definitely subscribe. It's your boy, DJ Akademiks. Also follow me on social media at I'm Akademiks on Instagram, Twitter. I'm out.